Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see the founder at least twice a day. Guy stays quite handsome and brilliant. Easy me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase with Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Going over to the business part podcast, the Porsche Cayenne EV will make V8 noises from their speakers. So you wish you had one instead of the EV. Now, this is brought to us thanks to Motor1.com. Here you can see the upcoming EV Porsche SUV. This is credited to Brian over at, again, Motor1.com. And they say, quote, "The electric Porsche Cayenne will have fake V8 noises. Let's hope the company smarts up and includes a fake gearbox too." Which, geez Louise, that just looks depressing as all hell. A Porsche EV SUV. A soulless monstrosity. Now, they say, quote, "Porsche is not the type of manufacturer to rely on the past to develop future cars. The 911 might look like it did 62 years ago, but the company is typically forward-facing when it comes to the tech. That's why we're surprised here that the upcoming Cayenne EV will use fake V8 noises. Published publication Autocar confirmed that the inclusion of these sounds pumped through the speakers said to be a, quote, a genuine Porsche V8 engine, unquote, during a ride-along in the car at the Goodwood Festival of Speed is a shift of ideals from Porsche's current EVs, the Taycan and Macan, which both use their own specially developed sounds, neither of which reminds us of the internal combustion engine." Ugh. See more pictures of that monstrosity. Notably absent from Autocar's recollection of the ride-along were any mentions of the synthesized transmission, as you might find in the Hyundai Ioniq 6N or the Kia EV6 GT, which means while a V8 noise blared through the speakers, it's likely not to have fake gears to make it sound natural. If we had to guess, the Cayenne likely sounds similar to the Dodge Charger Daytona, with usually, oh geez Louise, I almost threw up in my mouth, which uses a synthesized V8 growl that revs up as you accelerate, as if it only had one gear. In practice, it's not pleasant, and that's just an assumption, and things can change before the car enters production in 2026. Though it's not likely to, Porsche development driver Lars Kern confirmed to Australian media in 2024 that Porsche would not pursue the development of fake gear shifts in the company's EVs, saying, quote, "The electrical engine is better than..." Ugh, how dare you say this? He says the electrical... I can barely speak. This is so viscerally disgusting. This is a Porsche employee who presumably is a auto enthusiast, and he says, quote, "The electric engine is better than the ICE engine, so we figured there's no reason to simulate what has been in the past," unquote. Ugh. The last part has us questioning whether Porsche is starting to change its mind and how it approaches EVs. If the internal combustion engine noises are on the table, then synthesized gearboxes could be as well. That's the only way I see the upcoming... They're saying, quote, "That's the only way I see the upcoming electric 718 succeeding. Let's hope the company has a change of heart. Personally, I'd love to hear the wail of a Carrera GT behind the wheel of the new 718, which that's probably the best. No, it is by far, hands down, the best Porsche ever made was Carrera GT. One of the few times in history where a concept car had less horsepower than a production car. Formula One engineered V10 with a 6-speed manual transmission. Oh, the Porsche Carrera GT is iconic, and well, unfortunately, it's quite expensive. It's over $1 million now for one of those things. So, getting harder and harder to find one, and yet alone procure one. Now, this article just makes me think, if someday I was blessed to have a family, and maybe I needed an SUV in my life, you know what I would get? I would get Porsche Cayenne. However, it would be the one that was manufactured around 2008 to 2009, which did have a V8 and an option for a 6-speed manual transmission. Now, unfortunately, I believe they only imported about 242 of those, or sorry, 292 of those, and they usually still go for about 50, 60 grand, even with 100,000 miles. So they're still quite a pretty penny, but that, to me, is what Porsche should be, an enthusiast vehicle. I know a lot of soccer moms buying these SUVs just to go to school and pick up Cheerios from Costco, but again, this just all this article did was remind me of how disappointing that vehicle will be and how great their SUV used to be. Again, I know I'm in the minority wanting a stick shift these days. I know. But to me, it'd just be so much cooler to have V8. And again, some of this is political because you have governments cracking down on emissions across many countries. I understand this isn't purely because they think customers want this. It's also because they're being forced to make it. But all this did was remind me that Porsche used to be great and have an awesome SUV with a stick shift and a V8. And then in 2016 era, they did have an SUV with a stick shift, but it was only with a V6, which is a fun, tracky-oriented vehicle. And it's awesome that they made it, but to me, there's something awesome about a V8 SUV Porsche with a stick shift. So we'll see how many of these they realistically sell. As again, most companies are losing money on EVs left and right. I believe Ford's projected to lose another $5 billion on EVs in 2025. So we'll see how Volkswagen does. But yeah, trying to make an EV SUV that also just makes it sound like something you wish you had but you don't have. I can't but think maybe this will be in the business blunder section of the podcast in the future, but we'll see. Let me know. If you had to buy an SUV, would you pick an EV Porsche? I can't but think, hell no, but that's just my 3 cents. Used to be 2 cents, but hyperinflation, gotta be the 3 cents. But as always, let me know your thoughts and comments because that'd be fascinating to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, and click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.